Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all had a fantastic Easter. Today I wanted to talk about the new movie, Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider liking and subscribing. That way my house doesn't turn into collateral damage from a giant titan fight. The synopsis is as follows. Godzilla and the mighty Kong face a colossal threat hidden deep within the planet, challenging their very existence and survival of the human race. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 things that make a movie great. 1. The plot. All the titans on Earth are resting as there's no new threat. Until there is. Godzilla wakes up and starts absorbing power sources as he senses a threat. Gia is getting these visions that correspond with readings they're getting from Hollow Earth. And Kong finds a part of Hollow Earth that he hasn't found before, and finds a new threat. As the humans and titans find out more, they all have to band together to fight this new threat and save the world. The plot of this movie was okay. You're going into this film knowing it's going to be a monster mash movie, so you aren't really looking for intriguing plot, but I do think they could have done it in a better way. And there were quite a few moments that felt anticlimactic, including the end of the movie. You kind of split between the human storyline of what's going on and the Titan storyline of what's going on, and the human storyline was so bad and uninteresting to me that I almost just wanted it to be Kong on screen for most of the film, because that was infinitely more interesting and entertaining than anything the humans were doing. In addition to that, there is no post-credit sequence, so you don't need to stick around for the credits. For me, plot gets a 50-50. 2 is family friendliness. Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire is rated PG-13. There's a minimal bit of profanity and an exuberant amount of action and violence, including blood and gore at times, which is nothing less than you'd expect in a movie like this. There are a lot worse things out there than this, and the kids that I saw come into the theater seemed like they were having a great time. So use your discretion, but for me, family friendliness gets a thumbs up. 3 is acting and script. Look, Rebecca Hall is one of the most underrated actresses that I've ever seen. I enjoy almost every movie that she's in, and almost every time it has to do with her. Her performance in this movie is by far the best, except for King Kong. He did great. And the only dynamic between characters that worked was between Rebecca Hall and her daughter Kaylee Hoddle. Then there's Dan Stevens and Brian Henry. Dan Stevens was hit or miss in this movie. Most of the time it was a miss. But Brian Henry, holy free holies. I cannot overstate this enough. He made this movie almost unbearable. His acting performance was terrible, it was annoying, it was extremely unfunny, and he trampled over nearly every moment of potentially good dialogue, worse than Godzilla tramples over Japan. And the script had a lot to do with that as well. The human elements and dynamics in these movies have never been good, but though they've been bad, they've been bearable. Alliteration. In this movie, it wasn't just not enjoyable, you hated it. So acting and script for me get a thumbs down. 4 is character development. There's not a whole lot of character development here. You get some character development between Gia and Dr. Andrews, as Dr. Andrews is trying to be this mother figure to her, but not really knowing how to parent the last member of a tribe that doesn't exist anymore. And so there's some mild character development in that regard. The rest is just character progression, specifically with the character of Gia. Other than that, there's no character development in this movie, and all the human characters are pretty shallow. So character development for me gets a thumbs down. 5 is visuals and CGI. Here's what you came to the movie for. All the CGI was entertaining and it kept you involved in the film. There were quite a few action scenes in this movie and they were entertaining for the most part. I will say there are 2 or 3 fights that happen in this movie that are cut short for seemingly no reason, which made no sense to me because they were by far the most entertaining part of the movie. And while the fight scene at the end is the longest, it felt short as well. There weren't any moments of action in this movie that wowed me, but it was entertaining. So for me, visuals and CGI, I get a thumbs up. And 6 is rewatchability. Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire is 1 hour and 55 minutes long. And while the action and monster mashing was really entertaining, the human elements in this movie are what made it drag out and feel long at times. This movie fits in nicely with the rest of the series as far as entertainment value, but Brian Henry's performance in this movie, again, makes it way less bearable, to the point where I don't want to watch this movie again. It's like you had one job, make the humans not good but bearable, and they went down, baby. Fortunately for me, rewatchability gets a thumbs down. With all these areas considered, I have to give Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire, a 5 out of 10. This Monster Mash movie had good CGI and a bunch of action and violence that kept you entertained for most of the film. Rebecca Hall also had a good acting performance even though she wasn't on screen for super long. But there was no character development, the acting was pretty poor otherwise, including a terrible performance from Brian Henry, mostly because of the script, and quite a few moments that just felt anticlimactic. I know with these movies it's not going to be aces all the way around, but it's pretty easy to make it entertaining, so when you end up dropping the ball with that, you know something's wrong. So with all that in mind, if you enjoy the movies in these series and you just want to go enjoy a monster mash film, you might enjoy going to see Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire in theaters. But don't expect much from the humans in this movie. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. As always, I appreciate your love and support, and I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one.